There's a quiet moment many people describe after 60. You stand up from a chair or take the first steps in the morning, and something feels different. Not sharp pain, not an injury, just a stiffness that wasn't there before, a heaviness in the knees, a hesitation in the hips, and you may find yourself wondering, even if you never say it out loud, whether this is simply how life is going to feel from now on. I'm Dr. Daniel Carter, and I've sat across from many older adults who carry that same unspoken question. What I've noticed over the years is that this change rarely arrives all at once. It tends to creep in slowly, almost politely, until one day you realize you're moving more carefully than you used to. You may still be strong in many ways, yet your joints don't always cooperate the way they once did. Many people are told this is just aging, and while aging does play a role, there's often more beneath the surface that isn't clearly explained. One quiet change that happens in the body over time involves something called collagen. You don't feel it disappearing. You don't notice it day to day. But as the years pass, the body naturally produces less of it, and that can affect how supported your joints feel. When collagen levels decline, many older adults describe their knees feeling less cushioned, their hips feeling tight, or their joints sounding louder when they move. There can be stiffness after rest, discomfort during longer walks, or a sense that your legs don't trust the ground the way they used to. It's not weakness in character or effort, it's simply something that tends to happen quietly with age. What often surprises people is that the body doesn't completely lose its ability to support collagen. In many cases, it just needs gentle reminders. Over time, I've seen that everyday foods, not supplements, not extreme measures, may help support the body's natural rebuilding process in subtle but meaningful ways. For example, many older adults I've spoken with already enjoy citrus fruits without realizing why their bodies seem to respond well to them. Oranges, lemons, grapefruit, they're often associated with immunity, but research suggests they may also help the body maintain the tissues that keep joints feeling more flexible. People sometimes tell me they notice less heaviness in the legs when these foods are part of their routine, even if they can't quite explain why. Garlic is another food that often comes up in conversation, not because it works quickly, but because over time, it may help calm the low level inflammation that quietly settles into aging joints. Many describe it as feeling less puffy or less irritated inside the knees. It's subtle, almost easy to overlook, and that's often the pattern with joint comfort, small changes accumulating slowly. Bone broth is something older generations often relied on without naming the reason. Many people remember it from childhood kitchens, warm, simple, familiar. In many cases, it may help provide building materials the body recognizes, especially for joint structure. I've noticed that when people return to these traditional foods, they often describe their movement feeling more supported, as if the body remembers something it once knew how to do. Fruits in general play an interesting role as well, not in a dramatic way, but in how they help the body feel less strained. Many older adults notice that when they regularly include a variety of fruits, their joints don't feel as reactive. There's less soreness after movement, less lingering discomfort at the end of the day. It raises a quiet curiosity. Why would something so simple make any difference at all? Bell peppers often surprise people. Bright colors, crisp texture, nothing that seems related to joints at first glance. Yet research suggests they may support the body's internal repair environment. Some individuals notice that when these are part of meals, stiffness doesn't settle in as deeply. Again, not a cure, not a dramatic shift, just a gentler experience inside the body. Green leafy vegetables come up often in long conversations about mobility. Spinach, kale, and similar foods are frequently described as helping people feel steadier, less inflamed, more grounded. Many older adults don't say they feel better, they say they feel more stable. And that word matters. Stability is deeply tied to independence and confidence. Eggs are another familiar food that quietly supports the body's structural needs. Many people eat them without thinking much about it, yet over time they may help the body maintain connective tissues. I've heard people say their legs feel less tired during daily activities when eggs are a regular part of life. It's not about energy, it's about endurance. And then there are foods that don't often get much attention at all, like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. Small, easy to ignore. Yet many older adults are surprised to learn how supportive they may be for collagen production and inflammation balance. Some people describe a subtle lightness in their joints over time, as though movement requires slightly less effort. What's important here is not perfection, not strict routines, not doing everything at once. Aging bodies respond best to consistency and kindness, not pressure. Many changes happen slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, both the ones that make things harder and the ones that help restore comfort. As we sit here talking, I want you to know that the stiffness you feel, the hesitation before standing, the careful steps, these are experiences shared by many people your age. They don't define your future. They simply reflect the body's changing conversation with time. Sometimes the most meaningful shifts begin not with big decisions, but with gentle awareness. Noticing what supports you, paying attention to how your body responds, staying curious about what may still be possible. And that curiosity, more than anything, is worth holding on to as you continue learning about your body and the quiet ways it can still be supported. There's something else I've noticed over the years, and it often comes up in moments of honesty. Many older adults say the discomfort isn't always the pain itself, it's the uncertainty around it. Not knowing why one day feels manageable and another day feels heavy. Not knowing why the knees seem willing in the afternoon but resistant in the morning. That uncertainty can quietly wear on your confidence. What often goes unspoken is that joints are sensitive to the overall environment inside the body, not just to movement, but to inflammation. That low, steady irritation that can build with age. It doesn't announce itself loudly, it settles in quietly, making everything feel a little tighter, a little less forgiving. Many people describe it as feeling older than they believe they truly are. Over time, I've seen that when the body feels inflamed, collagen doesn't seem to function as smoothly. It's not that it disappears entirely, it's more that the support system becomes less responsive. That's when stairs feel steeper, long walks feel shorter, and standing up requires a moment of preparation. This is why certain foods matter, not because they fix anything, but because they may help create a calmer internal state. When inflammation eases even slightly, people often describe their joints as feeling more cooperative. Not perfect, just easier to live in. Pumpkin seeds are a good example of something small that can have a quiet influence. Many older adults enjoy them casually, never realizing they contain elements that research suggests may help the body's natural repair processes. Over time, some people notice their knees feeling less irritated after activity, not numb, not pain free, just less reactive. Sunflower seeds often bring similar observations. They're easy to overlook, yet they may help support joint comfort by contributing to the body's balance systems. People sometimes say their legs feel steadier, especially later in the day when fatigue usually settles in. What's interesting is how these foods don't announce their presence. There's no dramatic moment where you think, something just changed. Instead, movement gradually feels less guarded. You stop bracing as much. You trust your step a little more, and that return of trust can be deeply emotional. Many older adults I've spoken with say the hardest part of joint discomfort isn't physical at first, it's emotional, the quiet fear of losing independence, the worry about needing help for things that once felt automatic. Even the thought of planning outings differently can weigh heavily. When collagen support improves, even subtly, people often describe feeling more confident in their bodies, not stronger in a gym sense, stronger in a daily life sense, able to stand at the counter longer, able to walk through a store without scanning for places to sit, able to move without constant calculation. This is why traditional foods matter. Bone broth, for instance, isn't just warm nourishment. Many older adults say it makes their joints feel more protected from the inside. There's a sense of cushioning, of warmth that lingers beyond the meal itself. It's not medicine, it's familiarity, something the body seems to recognize. Garlic continues to come up in these conversations as well. Over time, people describe less swelling, less internal pressure around the joints. Again, nothing dramatic, just a quieter background inside the body, which allows movement to feel less confrontational. Green leafy vegetables often play a role in this calming effect too. Many people notice that when these foods are consistent, morning stiffness doesn't linger as long. The body seems more willing to loosen up. The day doesn't start with quite as much resistance. Eggs, simple as they are, often support endurance. People describe fewer moments where the legs feel suddenly drained. This kind of steadiness matters deeply after 60. It's what allows you to remain present in your life instead of constantly managing discomfort. And fruits, especially colorful ones, tend to support the body in ways people feel rather than measure. Less soreness after moving, less heaviness at night, a sense that recovery happens more naturally. What's often misunderstood is that none of this works in isolation. The body doesn't respond to single actions, it responds to patterns, gentle, repeated signals of care. That's why extreme changes rarely help older adults. The body prefers consistency over intensity. Many people are surprised to realize that collagen decline doesn't mean deterioration must accelerate. It simply means the body requires different kinds of support now than it did before. And that realization alone can shift how you relate to aging. There's something reassuring in knowing that comfort can still be influenced, even later in life. That your joints aren't broken. They're responding to time, and time can be met with patience rather than fear. As we talk, I want you to remember that your body has carried you through decades. It hasn't forgotten how to move. Sometimes it just needs a calmer environment to do so. And that idea, that gentleness can still create strength, is something worth quietly reflecting on as you continue learning about your own movement and comfort. There's a moment many people describe that stays with me. You reach for something on a shelf or turn slightly while walking, and for just a second, your body hesitates. Not because you can't move, but because you're not sure how your joints will respond. That hesitation can change how you live more than the discomfort itself. Over the years, I've seen how this quiet hesitation often grows from repeated small experiences. A knee that complains after sitting too long, a hip that feels tight after sleep, ankles that seem slower to wake up in the morning. None of these moments feel dramatic on their own, yet together they shape how confidently you move through your day. When collagen gradually declines, joints may lose some of their natural softness. People often describe it as feeling less padded, more rigid. Movement still happens, but it doesn't flow the same way. And when movement loses its ease, the mind naturally becomes cautious. Many older adults tell me they start planning their movements unconsciously. They think about where to sit, how far to walk, whether a surface feels stable. This kind of constant awareness can be tiring. It takes mental energy away from enjoying the moment. What I've noticed is that when the body feels better supported, even slightly, the mind relaxes. Confidence begins to return quietly. You don't think about your knees as much. You stop scanning for risks. You simply move. This is where foods that support collagen and reduce inflammation may matter more than people realize. Not because they rebuild anything overnight, but because they help create a sense of internal safety. When inflammation settles, joints often feel more predictable, and predictability is deeply comforting. Bell peppers often come up again here. Their role isn't something people feel immediately, but over time, some older adults say their joints feel less irritable, less prone to flaring up after normal activity. That consistency can make daily life feel more manageable. Citrus fruits are also frequently mentioned in these conversations. People describe feeling slightly more flexible, particularly in the knees and hips. It's not dramatic stretching. It's more like the body resists movement a little less. Green leafy vegetables continue to support that sense of internal calm. Many people notice their joints don't feel as hot or swollen. The day unfolds with fewer reminders of discomfort. Pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds often surprise people the most. Because they're small, they don't seem important. Yet over time, they may support the body's repair rhythms. Some people describe feeling steadier when walking, especially on uneven ground. That steadiness brings peace of mind. Eggs often support muscle and joint cooperation together. Many older adults say their legs feel more reliable, not stronger in a visible way, but more dependable, less likely to fatigue suddenly. Bone broth continues to offer that sense of internal cushioning. People often say it makes their joints feel warmer, more supported from the inside. It's not something you can measure, you simply feel it. Garlic, again, is often associated with a quieter inflammatory response. Many describe fewer days where joints feel angry or swollen without reason. The body feels calmer. What's important is how these experiences affect daily life. Being able to rise from a chair without bracing yourself, being able to walk without constantly evaluating each step, being able to trust your body again, even if only a little. Trust is everything after 60. When trust fades, independence feels fragile. When trust returns, even slightly, life opens back up. Many people think strength is about muscles alone, but stability often comes from how well the joints feel supported. When collagen and inflammation are balanced, movement tends to feel smoother, and smooth movement reduces fear. I've watched people regain confidence not because pain vanished, but because unpredictability faded. They knew how their body would respond. That predictability allowed them to relax. It's also important to say this gently. Nothing here is about reversing age. Aging continues, but comfort within aging can change, and that distinction matters deeply. Your body isn't failing you, it's adapting, and adaptation can be supported in quiet, respectful ways. Sometimes the most meaningful improvement isn't walking farther or faster, it's walking without thinking about it. And that simple freedom, moving without constant awareness, is something many older adults begin to rediscover when they approach their bodies with patience rather than urgency. As our conversation begins to slow, there's something I want you to hold gently, not as a goal, but as an understanding. Aging rarely announces itself loudly. It settles in through small changes, a pause before standing, a tighter feeling in the joints, a little less confidence in your stride. And yet, those same small spaces are often where comfort can quietly return. Over many years, I've seen that the body continues to respond to care far longer than people expect. Not dramatic care, not forceful effort, but steady, familiar support. when collagen is gently supported and inflammation is allowed to calm. Many older adults describe feeling more at ease in their own bodies. That ease doesn't arrive as excitement, it arrives as relief, as a morning that feels slightly less stiff, as a walk that doesn't require as much planning, as a sense that your body is working with you again instead of against you. Foods like citrus fruits, garlic, bone broth, fruits, bell peppers, green leafy vegetables, eggs, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds are not solutions on their own, but they often become part of a larger pattern, one where the body receives consistent signals of nourishment and steadiness. Over time, those signals may help support joint structure, reduce quiet inflammation, and allow movement to feel more natural. What matters most is not doing everything perfectly. Many older adults feel overwhelmed when they believe they must change everything at once. In reality, the body often responds better to gentleness, to familiarity, to routines that feel sustainable rather than demanding. I want you to know that stiffness, discomfort, and hesitation are not personal failures. They are common experiences among people who have lived full, active lives. Your joints reflect the years they've carried you through work, family, responsibility, and joy. Independence doesn't disappear suddenly, it shifts gradually, and that means it can also be supported gradually. Confidence can return quietly, stability can grow without drama, movement can feel safer again. You may find that when your joints feel calmer, your mind feels calmer too. You stop anticipating discomfort. You stop bracing yourself before each movement. You become more present in the moment rather than negotiating with your body. This kind of change doesn't announce itself. One day you simply notice you stood up without thinking, or you walked farther than expected, or you reached for something without hesitation. Those moments matter. As you continue forward, I encourage you to stay curious rather than critical, to listen to your body without fear, to recognize that support can come from simple, familiar places. You've earned a relationship with your body that's based on understanding, not pressure, on patience, not urgency, on respect for what it has already done and what it may still be able to do. And perhaps, as you move through the coming days, you'll notice small signals of ease returning, not as a promise, not as a guarantee, just as a reminder that your body is still listening.